Chrisjan. I was raised here in Stellenbosch in the Western Cape, and moved up to the Lowveld where I became working as a ranger for the last about 8 years around the Kruger National Park area.
Nice. Reward, yes.
The reason we started Kilo 9 Academy, through my years as a field ranger, I never had a dog for many years. I patrolled the bush on foot, and yes, we were very effective. But every day, the more I started getting into the operational side, I realized that, the effectiveness of a dog can be extremely beneficial to a team. I was out on a patrol with my scout, and my personal dog Bandit was with us. We started tracking the spoor of these two poachers that we suspected in this area. A few kilometers after, we actually made visual contact with two suspects in the bush, and we just made eye contact with them, and in a split second, off they bolted. I lost my scout in the bush, came into a clearing, and ran through a relatively wide river that was flowing through this property. It happened so quick. The suspect actually bit my arm, ended up shoving his thumbs in my eyes, and he pushed me backwards, where I fell in the river over a pretty big rock, and he gripped my throat and he was trying to drown me underwater. Last thing I remember, I gave like 110% effort, and I could just get up off the water slightly to take one last breath, and I saw my dog Bandit come through the bush barking at this suspect. So all I could do was get a little bit of my hand out underneath the guy's thighs, and I slapped him on his stomach. And exactly where I slapped him, Bandit came and bit the suspect off. I managed to get up. My scout came out from the bush. He fired some warning shots, and Bandit went after the suspect and apprehended him. He bit him on the tricep and pulled him down, and we could effect an arrest. Yeah, my dog has been there for me in one of the hardest situations of my life. I think the bond is definitely, it plays a massive role, and I can't say that came down to training only. The specific incident, he was still very young. He was trained, but I think it was more instinct than trainability at that time for that dog. I remember directly after the incident having to limp back to the vehicle. My partner had to help me walk back to the vehicle, but this progressed quite seriously to some points where I couldn't patrol. I couldn't drive anymore. I started getting the sciatic nerve pain down my leg. Then I started thinking, whoa, okay, this is a bit different than a normal bump or a scrape or a scratch. And that's when we started seeking out further medical attention, going for scans and MRIs and things like that. And obviously this revealed what's going on the inside. Yeah, getting back into the field, it's not even, for me, it's not even a question of how do you bounce back, it's when. Like, there's no other way. There's no, that's all I want to do is just be able to carry on doing what I do and work my dogs and train new rangers and train the next generation. I've now become an instructor more than a field ranger myself. I don't do patrols anymore like we used to, but I just want to share that knowledge, train the dogs, train the handlers, just get back in the field. That's all. There's no how, it's just when. If it doesn't happen, I have to stop doing what I'm doing. My whole life since out of school, I've just went into conservation, being a ranger, training rangers, training dogs for conservation. So I can't see any other outcome. I'd have to really sit down and think what's next if this does not happen. I don't see any other outcome. Like, this has to happen. It is happening. We're gonna have to make a plan. Sure.
Yeah, good girl. Yeah, good girl. Yeah.